Basically, I'm unmuting things so that they hear us. God. Hey, even though we've said
Hi.
hey like a dozen times. um, so you are, or sorry, you were one of the people who was always at Ladies' Night. Um,
Yeah.
and you, just to dive right in, I think um, Lillian had a story that was like, you said you jotted down a couple of points, life
Yeah.
points, but from the outside, it's like the Ladies' Night saga, and then Anarchy as a line in the middle, and then everything that came after that. So
That's pretty much it.
I I was thinking that this interview should go differently because we have or I at least have a lot of questions about like each of those specific parts and like packets. Um,
Yeah.
so uh, I guess from the very beginning instead of starting at the end, did you play Lillian last
I'm
chapter?
watching you watch me.
Yes, actually,
Okay.
I started out in DarksideRP before the storm in Wave 3, I think. I
Okay,
had a friend who was already on the server. He convinced me to join, and after like a week of asking, I finally did. And it kind of spiraled from there.
gotcha.
But yeah, Lillian was different before the storm. It was my first time role playing. So before the storm, it was me just learning how to be Lillian, learning how to role play. And she really came out of her own after the storm in a huge way.
Did you play other RP stuff before that? You said you were learning how to
No,
RP, so I assume not.
no. Before the storm, Dark Side Roleplay was my first roleplay character.
No D&D, no
No.
board games and stuff. Wow, that's intense. Um,
Yeah.
okay, good. Then, so you played and learned how to RP, and then how did you wind up in Last Call Crew?
Um, my friend who convinced me to join, the same week I joined, he also met Hell's Gate before the storm. And as soon as I joined with him, we ended up joining Hell's Gate. And I think we were only there for maybe a week or two. And there was a huge Hell's Gate split, like the big split of them. And I went with what became Last Call. So yeah, it was so close to the near the storm when I ended up joining the server that we literally just went to a beach and we called it Vacation Life, and we just had fun and messed around.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was actually the start of Ladies' Night, because for the longest time when I was in Hell's Gate, the crew never let us go to Ladies' Night because they were so worried, because there's people who AR went to Ladies' Night and we had confrontations with them, I guess you could say. So when we had the split, went to the very last ladies' night, and it was at the very last ladies' night that we had a very good impression, I guess, on Nisa and Leon, who run Dragon Spirit. And they spent a week searching us down before the storm, trying to find us to invite us to come live on their island after the
Oh,
storm. Yeah, and that's
that's
how we ended
awesome.
up becoming part of Ladies' Night.
And so you identified the big like thing that people didn't understand. There's Dragon Spirit and there was Last Call, and they were not the same, even though they were like so intermeshed. Um,
Yeah.
what was the like pairing, and what did each group do? I guess.
Well, like I kind of explained, like the last call, like we were already an entity, like our own company, before Dragon Spirit came to us. But they came to us because we had the shit. They recognized that we had artists, singers, and
Right.
so yeah, they wanted us to come join. So yeah, the pairing basically was like, hey, you can still be your own crew, but you're gonna live on our island and be a huge part of Ladies' Night.
Right.
A lot of people didn't realize we were actually two different companies, even though we were.
Yeah. So from what it looked like, and I was saying this on sort of camera, but nobody could hear me. y'all are doing or were doing a ton of work over time that nobody could see, I guess. Um,
Yes.
what did like the week schedule kind of look like, and then the night of specifically?
Well, for starters, like Lillian or me, I ended up doing all the paintings and the backdrops. Like, I don't know if a lot of people even noticed because a lot of people, like looking back at streams, they couldn't even see half the paintings that
Mm-hmm.
were up because of the lag and everything that was going on. But I changed up every painting inside the tavern weekly, like the backdrops for the main stage and the side stage, and choreographed the dances alongside Nisa every week. We had different dances every week,
Right.
which did involve rehearsals and having to get everybody together and working out the routines and stuff. Like, there's way more involved than people think.
Yes, for sure. And you rehearsed what, every Friday or the day before?
Yeah, usually the day before for a few hours, we would get each dance down, and afterwards, I would have to sit down and like jot down on like a notepad like, exactly what song or dances we did to what song, and at what point in the songs we changed dances, and
And is that something that you like? Did other people have to do that too, or they were they trying to like? How did because it seems so difficult to have say five people all doing the same thing at the same times when they don't have peripheral vision, they don't have like the actual stage. So did you
yeah.
like give out notes, or was it more like
Yeah, it was giving out notes. Like the whole time I'm choreographing along with the dances on the rehearsal night, I'm writing notes. Like, so when we change dances, like from one dance to another dance, I write down what lyric was being said at that exact point, so people know. Okay, when this lyric is said, then I change dance to this, and then I had to hand it out to everybody. And yeah, we have our own Discord where I post the notes in every week.
yeah, that is like that's like real choreography. That's like real work.
Pretty much. There was so much work that went involved. And then the night of, every ladies' night, after the dance routines or everything was done, I barely got a chance to really appreciate everything because I'm always being tugged around for tattoos. And
Yeah, so that was another question that I had. You became like a huge point of getting tattoos, and my scars for Boxster. Did did the way that you use tattoos and how people came to you on like Discord and stuff, did that change how people interacted with you in roleplay as well?
not really. Like, even if people did come to me in Discord, like if for okay, for instance, your tattoos that's so different. They weren't actually tattoos that you could role play because
Right,
it was scars. So there was nothing that we could really do in character for that.
right.
But for other people who message me, like find me in the Dark Side Roleplay Discord and ask for tattoos, I'll tell them, yeah, I'll get them ready for you, but you still have to go seek out Lillian and ask her.
Right.
But
Okay.
you still have to go through the roleplay. I'm not just gonna hand a tattoo file to you over Discord.
Yeah. So I think I remember your method, but what was like if someone specific, like say I think Flameheart needed a tattoo, came to you at ladies' night, what happened behind the scenes and what did that look like?
Oh, well, I usually like if we're I give 48 hours for a tattoo. I tell everybody 40 hours, and every additional tattoo I get after that. So let's say I got 5 tattoos that night. The second person, I'll tell them I'll have it for you in 3 days. The next person, I'll tell them I'll have it for you in 4 days.
Dang.
And
Okay.
then, because if I don't do it that way, I'll never have time to actually be in game, as it can take a few hours sometimes to do a tattoo. So I'm a stay-at-home mom. So during the day, once I get my son off to school, spend the first few hours of the day doing one tattoo, and then by dinner time, I'm getting on and role playing and giving out the tattoo and stuff.
Right.
Unless they're easy, then I'll do a couple in a day. But
And I'm pretty sure you said that they came to you and asked for something and then you would make it yourself, right? It wasn't just um
oh yes,
here's an
every
image.
tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh no, every tattoo I would make myself in Photoshop. Like some of them it would be like grabbing clip art and throwing it together. A lot of them would be me actually having to draw things out, but every one of them was me making something myself, not just pulling something off the internet.
That's dope. I assume you made this image of Lillian's parlor or tattoo parlor that we're using on
Yes.
the backdrop, and all of your tattoos, I assume, as well.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's so much art. Um, that's nuts.
I
Yeah.
take a lot of pride in Lillian's tattoos because I put more work into hers than anybody else's. I've changed them probably 7 or 8 times throughout the season.
Yeah, it sucked that there was so many like issues with tattoos and everything switching and moving around and stuff. Um, when we
Yeah.
met at one point, y'all had socks or something, but they had like switched or something on y'all's feet. I can't remember.
Yeah, shimmers are hard on tattoos.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Yeah, I'm constantly telling people like as soon as I give them tattoos now, it took me a long time to learn to do this, but like I force them take my paintbrush, shave it,
yeah,
because people would come back to me like 2, 3, 4 times saying I lost my tattoos, I need them back.
yeah, I did the same thing personally, so sorry, but
Oh no, that's fine.
the kinky tattoo was like spur of the moment, so I wasn't even thinking I should save this. It was just a haha, that's funny, kind of thing. So
Actually, the kinky tattoo for a lot of people like became like a curse in game.
oh,
There's a few people who I gave the tattoo to in a ladies' night, and then they would say that it would just keep coming back, even though they changed it. They go through a shimmer, and it was like a curse, the kinky curse that keeps coming back.
that's awesome. I wish that had
Yeah.
happened with me, but unlucky. um, so you played with Last Call until Dragon Spirit could no longer run, from what I understand on the notice or whatever.
Yes and no. It was more of just a timing thing. Dragon Spirit not being able to run a ladies' night anymore kind of helped along the fact that Last Call didn't have a reason to really stay together anymore.
Gotcha.
And differences the people inside the company had. Like in the past, everything just kind of came to a head, and there was a group of us who just decided, you know what, we need a change.
Right. And so how did Anarchy come about, which was, from what I could tell, multiple different groups all losing a couple people to make a single pirate group, right?
Yeah, Anarchy was mostly half a last call, half of hooligans. I don't know about half. I don't know how many they originally had. Quarter to a half of them. Because hooligans kind of went through the exact same thing that we did at the same time, where they're like, there's a group of people that were like, you know what, I kind of want to go our own way. So, and we were friends with them. And once Anarchy just decided to become a thing from the hooligans, we were like, you know what, maybe we will go join them.
Yeah, that was it was interesting to see people that like I had talked to in one place, talked to in a different place, even if they, talk to each other all the time. I didn't really expect them to all wind up together. So it was interesting to see, like, oh wow, this whole group of people came from these different places and wound up together.
Yeah. And that was like the turning point in Lillian's story right there. She went from being like the sweet Lillian who does the tattoos and the dancing and the ladies' night
Hmm.
to becoming a pirate. And
Yeah, so the anarchy symbol was everywhere for a while. Um, was that like on purpose? Were you trying to, or was the group trying to be something big, or did it just happen that I saw it everywhere?
maybe it just happened that you saw it everywhere. We weren't trying to throw it out everywhere.
Okay. What do you think was the goal of like moving into anarchy then?
At the time, it was just um, basically just trying to progress because we were at like I don't know about other people in my company in last call, but my story with Lillian was kind of came to a halt
Hmm.
for a good week or so where there wasn't much for us to do. Like her life evolved around ladies' night, and I wasn't sure what direction to bring things. There wasn't much business coming in for a week, and joining Anarchy was actually a great decision. I didn't realize it would spiral the way it did, and then Lillian ended up joining like a feared company and everything. But
Yeah. Yeah, nobody saw that coming, honestly.
I
Um,
didn't even see it coming. I'm like,
so, uh, what then was? How did you all wind up in Kindred? I guess because that's the second section. I guess there's Last Call,
yeah.
Anarchy in the center, then Kindred. How did that occur? How did you wind up there?
Anarchy liked the poke to the Navy and Navy sympathizers. They just we went out pirating like at least 3 4 nights a week, just going sailing, seeing who was around, and we had one previous Navy battle, and then one night, I think it was around 4th of July, to be honest. They decided, a bunch of them at Anarchy, they're like, hey, let's go celebrate and shoot off 300 fireworks at the Navy trade port.
Yes,
So,
I saw that. Um,
oh, did you?
I entered the zone and started sailing, and then I looked at the Navy island because I was just going past it. I don't think I was going to see Robin at that point, and there were all these like tiny dots all over this one little section of the island, and I was like, are they shooting off like 4th of July fireworks? It's not really an English thing to do. And then I later found out that it was Anarchy just trying to blow up the sky. I don't know what. But yeah, I took a screenshot of it. It's pretty cool that that was y'all.
Not gonna lie, I think most of us were pretty drunk, like drinking in real life that night when we got the idea. We're like, hey, this sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
At the time, at least it did. So, yeah, that was that night that we got more than we asked for. I think we had 3 ships, or no, it was 2 ships. It was the Thief and the Beggar, and they had 5 in total. They kept switching out their ships. Every time we'd almost sink one, they would send another one back and bring out another one, and eventually we ran out of resources. They sunk our ship and sent us to prison.
Yeah.
But it was right after that I think it was Alex who they decided to keep him. They were going to hang him, and after much convincing, like we literally like held a protest at the Navy trade port in order to convince them not to hang Alex. They said, "Okay, we won't hang him if you bring back 40,000 gold." So we were making friends with Kindred already at the time. I think we came up with maybe 12 or 15,000 of it on our own, just from like throwing all our money into a pot type of thing. And we had only 24 hours to do it. So we ended up going over to Kindred and saying, hey, can you help us save one of our captain's heads?
Wow.
And they lent us the money. And I think it was not even 24 hours after that, they came to our port and said, hey, you can come join us and you don't have to pay back the money. We're like, hell yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So that's how that happened.
Yeah.
Did do you think that being in Last Call where everyone around you sort of was streaming, but nobody in Last Call, I don't think, was streaming any of the stuff that y'all did. Do you think moving from that to Kindred, where you started streaming and people around you were often streaming and like everybody could kind of see sort of what was happening, do you think that changed like how you played and how you thought about your company?
Um, Yes and no. And like I've always wanted to stream, but it's more like real life issues I haven't streamed. But I have a son and a husband. My computer's in the living room. It gets quite loud sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime there's like a huge life point, I try to throw my stream up just so I can capture the moments. Like when Lillian went to prison, that I threw my stream up regardless of the noise I had in the
Right.
background because of it. And or like when she got married or the Navy fight. It's always like huge things that I try to always try and capture. But yeah, a lot of the little stuff gets left out, unfortunately. I do wish I was able to stream a lot more of it, but really don't know why there wasn't a lot of streaming going on in Last Call and Dragon Spirit, to be honest. There's so many things that I really wish we could have shared. We had
Yeah,
some good moments.
I agree. And it's interesting that a lot of them are streaming now. It just seemed like maybe there was too much going on to control a stream too, or something like that. I'm not really sure, but um,
Yeah.
I don't know.
To be honest, I don't know if I could, like, even if I was had the opportunity to stream Ladies Night from my end, it would just be so difficult. I don't know if I'd be able to handle it because I'm always stretched thin on Ladies Nights, like with
That-
it trying to
yeah,
deal with getting up on stages and the choreographing and then being pulled around with the tattoos. It would be so hard to deal with all that, still trying to keep track of a chat. And yeah,
that's
I
a
don't
good
know if I
point.
could.
Yeah. Um, I guess the other constant besides the art and stuff, the uh I guess tell us about Iskandar, and did you know Crutch ahead of time, or how did you wind up always being together?
Actually, there's a story to go along with that too.
Wait.
Before Iskandar, Lillian had a nickname, the Heartbreaker,
Oh,
because the guys would constantly try to ask her out, and she would always turn them down in the nicest way possible. I wasn't rude about it. It was just like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not really looking for relationships type of thing.
mhm.
I did know Crutch previously. He's a friend of mine. We actually used to be neighbors before the storm. He played a different
Oh,
character
okay.
on our island when I was in Hell's. And actually, him and Kyrie are married in real life. Kyrie plays Callista in Last Call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and for the longest time, I would just turn down relationship offers in the game. And then when we made the move from Last Call to Anarchy, actually, Crutch's real life wife, Callista, is the one that like pushed Iskandar and Lillian together. She was always the one that was trying to suggest, hey, you guys should hook up. And
Yeah.
finally, it just seemed like a right point when Lillian was going through a lot of emotional stuff, switching companies and becoming a pirate. And yeah, it just kind of happened. They ended up getting together in game.
And like literally every time you looked at one or the other one was there. So that was pretty cool to see, like the combination of two forces. Um,
Yeah. He was kind of Lillian's bodyguard at the same time. Like everywhere Lillian had to go do tattoos or going to painting night or going to wherever, he would always be there. Yeah.
gotcha. Um, do you think it? See, it's really hard to like go to someone and be like, "Hey, you know, Iskandar, tell me your life story. I just want to know. I don't want to have like, this chat or whatever. I just want to like know." It's really hard to do that. Do you think people should do that? Do you think people should DM like Crush and be like, "Hey, Iskandar is super interesting. Just tell me everything that happened." Like, do you think that's
Hell yeah.
viable?
He would probably love that.
Okay,
He loves
everyone.
telling Iskandar's story. Actually, Iskandar, the character expands way past Second Life. He's been playing the character for years and multiple times. It started out in Conan, I believe. And
Wow.
in Conan, it has like a lot more lore he has behind his character.
I see. So he was a good choice for holding up the Atlas. Perfect.
Yes.
Dope. Everyone who is watching this VOD later, because it's late, slide into Crutch's DMs. That'll be hilarious.
I'd love to see his reaction when he gets a bunch of DMs in the morning. Actually, one of my favorite moments from this season, like I've even gone back and watched this clip a few times just to get the laugh again,
Mhm.
was when we randomly ran into you at the Navy. I ran into Boxer at the Navy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you're telling us about how you got the scars and the whole thing with leave. And then as Iskandar is walking away, you're like, "What? Stop walking away with purpose. I see you walking away with purpose. Don't do it."
Yeah.
It cracks me up every time.
I was really trying to let all that junk go so that I could like go to something else because like I tried for a little bit to make it like fighty, and I just can't do like aggression and hurting people and stuff. That's not me. So I was like, all right, I'm finally gonna like give this up and let it go. And then Boxster ran his stupid mouth because I wasn't thinking about it. And I realized that I had told the wrong person when he was like, okay, Leaf, Wolfsong, got it. And just like turned and walked away. I was like, oh no. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
that was great.
I don't know if y'all did anything about that. I don't even know.
No, it didn't go any
Yeah,
further
good.
than there. Because it was around that time we started having a lot of our own issues within the company, like not within the company, but like things going on with the Navy, and
Right.
yeah, we had to deal with our own problems before we go try to be a mercenary for somebody else.
Right. Um you said this is your new character, or you're new. And I've asked a couple other people, do you have like a way to sort of randomize the story if you get hurt or if you get shot or any of that stuff? Do you have like perma conditions and stuff?
Not this character, but I will be with my next one. I've only learned about stuff like that after I started Lillian.
Yeah.
And actually, quite a few people in our company do like roll on deaths and stuff like that. But like near the end of the season, I did start to set like certain things. Like there was when Lillian became pregnant, and the Navy battle was starting to come closer. I decided that if she were to die in PvP, like I wouldn't perma Lillian, but she'd probably lose the baby.
Dang.
But since then, like I have ordered some D20 dice, and in my next character, I will be doing things like that more randomly.
That's dope. I know I don't know how to say her name exactly. Kairi is, I think, how you said it.
Kari?
Yeah. This, I don't know if you're looking at chat, but I assume so because you're always looking at chat. Um I think that's how you spell it. Anyway, she's the first person that I heard someone, I think, physically roll dice. I'm pretty sure it was her. I could be wrong, but when she started streaming, I think she's the first person I heard do it, and then I started asking, like, what is that? I guess. Do you think that when we started role playing, we should have looked up stuff, or should it have been organic like it seems like it has been?
What do you mean by like look up stuff? Like,
Well, I mean, there's got to be people who are like, 5 top tips for new role players, or getting into role playing. Try these. That's sort of like
oh yeah, that's a good question. See, I didn't even think about it
me
when I
either.
started.
Yeah.
See, yeah, when I started, it was literally just a friend who was on the server who thought I would be good at something like this, and
Yeah.
I was super nervous about it because I never role played. And yeah, it took me like a few weeks. Like I pick up on things easily, just like seeing how other people reacted around me and stuff. I started to realize like, okay, this isn't that hard, you know. And Lillian kind of came into her own.
Yeah.
I started out being myself, but in Lillian, and then Lillian became her own character per se.
Yep. Been there.
Yeah.
Right, I have like standard questions too. Those, I really wanted to like focus on the character and stuff um in chunks, but how do you think the chapter wound up for you, and the story, at least as far as you've told it?
um, I think the chapter ended up alright. Like near the end, I feel like I started to neglect Lillian's tattoo business, in a sense where okay, I've always had a rule like from day one where like I never charge crew because all through Last Call and Anarchy we had a smaller crew, 10, 12 people, and there was no point in charging crew members for tattoos because all the pub money would go back in the same pot anyways.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Lillian joins Kindred, which is once we joined, it was like a 50-person company. And the last few weeks the season was on, I was constantly doing tattoos for everybody in the crew without making a single dime of gold.
Wow.
So, yeah, the Lillian's tattoo career kind of went like it was still going, but at the same time, like the whole point I love doing the tattoos is being able to go out and meet people and give them to them, and being in Kindred kind of held me back from that because, well, for one, people seem to have a fear for them, so it was really hard to go see them. Plus, they had a thing where I couldn't go to the Navy, I couldn't go see red sailed people, which also affected Lillian and Mythocles' relationship a lot. So, yeah, Lillian needs to go to that island all the time, have a really good relationship with, yourself, Boxster, Mythocles, Luna, Foster, all of them, and that's a whole story on its own. Just trying. And now the season's over. I'm okay saying this. I wouldn't have done it with the season going, but there was quite a few times where Lillian snuck over there. I think the last time I ran into you, like I literally park on the island next door, climb up on top of the skull, glide over just in case there's meta people who could see the ship on the map,
Right.
just to go and see you guys.
That's awesome. Didn't know that. Every single time Mythocles started with, how do you think Lillian's doing? I was like, oh, come on. Can we just have like not a message to give to her? I really don't want to give her another weird message. And then the message would come out and I'd be like, yeah, I'll tell her, I guess. If I see her, that's fine.
Of course, with Mythocles, it always has something to do with something sexual.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Dang it.
Made me laugh every time, though. I hate to say it. I always look forward to hearing whatever messages he wanted to send through Boxer this time.
Never anything constructive, never anything like secretive or anything. Just, hey, tell her this, I guess, have her come by.
It made for some good roleplay, though. Like that one time Boxer came to Lillian was like, we were looking, I forget exactly what the wording was, something to do with trying to find a woman for Iskandar.
Right, yeah.
Break them up.
That was
and I confronted him about that. I went and saw him like a day or two later, and I was like, so why are you trying to find a woman for Iskandar? And to put him on the spot, I think I broke him because he was just sitting there going, like it's completely uncommon for him to be speechless.
Yeah, good. That's awesome. Glad he had some of that awkwardness thrown back at him.
I made up for it though, because then I hid a tattoo on Mythocles that said Lillian with a heart on the bottom of his foot, and he found it weeks later.
He told me about that tattoo all the time. Yeah. He kept bringing it up like, I think she's in love with me. And I would be like, no, dude, I don't think so. She's got Iskandar and stuff. And then one time he brought up the tattoo and he was like, look at my foot. It says Lillian. I don't know how it got here. And then he was convinced. So well done.
I didn't know how he would react to it. It was more just a mess with him. Lillian would never leave Iskandar without a good reason.
Well, the reaction was to show everyone. Literally everyone. Yep. I guess you said you didn't know what was going to happen, so that handles that. Oh yeah, what sort of characters do you like to play with now that you've seen a whole huge crew of characters, and like who do you like to surround yourself with?
I hate to say it, but joining Kindred actually changed my perspective on a lot of people. Back when I was in Hell's Gate before the storm, people who I am now crewed with in Kindred used to come and at the time I thought torment us, shot actually Rory, the person who invited me to the server in the first place, twice in the head, blow down our lighthouse, and try and get us to give them resources by a certain date, or else we would be feared by something. And I used to think, oh, I don't want to know those people. Those are horrible people. But then after a while, I started to realize, no, these are really nice people. They're just playing a role. It really took a while for me to really realize that these characters are really just characters. It's all just role play, yeah. But getting to know people, I started to realize, there's a lot of different characters on the server, and I didn't think I could come up with another character besides Lillian, but after getting to know a lot of people, I actually think I might have one for next season. That's quite different. Yeah.
So you're going a different direction. Nice.
Well, yes and no. Didn't know in the sense that I'll still be doing tattoos, but in a special sense.
Okay, nice. So I guess to expand on that, do you think that all of the stuff you've seen has changed the way you play yourself, including interactions on Discord as well as in game? Um, it sounds like Lillian
Yes.
has grown, but I don't know for sure.
Lillian has grown a lot since she first joined Darkside Roleplay, that's for sure. Well, certain things like back when in Hell's Gate and in Last Call, actually, like a lot of us used to sit and voice chat and like a lot while playing the game, and I started to realize how bad that was after the fact because it takes a lot away from the role play and it starts to cause like out of character issues. So I learned my lesson with that. Now when I play the game, I don't sit and voice with people,
Mhm.
and I try to keep everything that's out of character, and keep it out of the game. And like, yeah, I have learned a lot since I've started.
Cool. Um, Speaking of, I don't know why I keep thinking of this, but um, why do you listen to tribal music the entire time you play, or at least stream?
Oh, I always have the drums going when I'm playing. If I don't like, if I'm not streaming, sometimes I'll have other people's streams on in the background. Usually people with my own company, not to cause issue.
Mhm.
But even then, I'll still have the drums on in the background. It helps me get into the role play mood, I guess.
Hmm.
The in-game music isn't as satisfying.
Yeah, I don't use any of the in-game music or any of that stuff, so I don't even know what it sounds like.
And it kind of started well in Anarchy. A lot of people in Anarchy listen to the drums. Well, we always call it putting the drums on as we're about to sail out in the black sails or something. Helps get you into the mood and get your mind into character and into the right place.
That's cool. Huh.
And it's funny the final battle we had with the Navy. It was most of Anarchy was spread out, but we had quite a few Anarchy around Aiden's ship. And right before we went out into battle, we all put our drums on and started doing our little drum dance around the ship. It
Yeah,
kind of it helps with the role play.
that's cool. And obviously Lillian is always dancing all the time. Um, was there a reason for that?
It's all back to the ladies' night thing. Lillian likes to dance. She only has a few like major character traits. She likes tattooing people. She's nice and she likes to dance.
Awesome.
So even though ladies' night's not around, she still loves to dance.
I I always thought it was like silly, basically, like, oh, it's just like a character thing. And then I realized that you can probably balance your vitamins and all of that stuff that's like legitimately part of the game if you do that all the time because like you're constantly burning so then you can eat and that sort of thing. So,
Actually, it was never an issue. In the music tree, I think it is,
mhm.
there's bodies in motion. If you get 2 or 3 bodies in motion, you can dance forever and it won't affect your vitamins.
Well, true, but a lot of us were having issues where our vitamins would deplete, but we couldn't eat because,
That's where you go with the overeating one, too.
yeah,
I had
yeah.
to use up a lot of points to be Lillian.
Sounds like
Literally
it.
overeating. There was another one that has to do with the vitamins. I had tier 3, and
Hmm.
then yeah, the body's in motion. All just so you can constantly, be able to eat properly and dance forever.
Awesome. I'm glad you, even if you didn't mean to. I don't. Did you like plan that, or did you just take your skills as you decided you needed them?
I planned it so that Lillian would be able to dance forever.
Awesome.
She can outdance anybody.
Cool.
Except for the other ladies' night sirens. Everybody else that's a lady night siren can dance as long as Lillian.
That makes sense. Uh, so you're obviously streaming, and is there a number after your name, by the way?
Saphiria 85, yeah.
85. Dang, so close. I was gonna guess 87. Gonna shout you out, and then I stopped because I didn't know the number. Anyway, you're streaming obviously, and you watch all sorts of streams. I don't know how exactly you wind up everywhere, but I see you everywhere. Um, Are there things that people are doing that you've adopted or that you think that other streamers should start doing?
Um, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Like, yeah, I do watch a lot of streams. I guess the biggest thing would be like when the people come in the chat and start giving shade and stuff like that,
Hmm?
because they associate with your character instead of you. I do realize that some people handle that better than others.
I've
I did have learned from watching streams how to like properly handle people coming in and giving you shade, just because I've gotten a little bit of it being ever since joining Kindred, and people wondering like what are you doing type of thing. And
huh, I've never seen that because I haven't done any sort of things like that. But that's interesting that you bring that up. I don't even know what I would do. Huh. I'll have to ask, I guess.
yeah, you would be surprised how many people, like, not so much on mine. I think it's only happened like once on mine, but like some of the bigger streamers in Kindred, like Quantifiable and Kitty and Z-Ring, they get it a lot more.
Yikes. All right. If anyone's watching who does that, don't do that. Um, are there, specifically because you spent so much time prepping for Ladies' Night, are there any events that you wanted to go to that you couldn't, or any sort of stories that you wanted to be a part of that you couldn't get into?
Yeah, quite a few times. Like, for instance, even Boxer's birthday party, we had to completely rearrange when we do ladies' night rehearsals just to be able to go to that. Or like the Mythos Casino, there was one point when we talked to them, and they're right before they were thinking about opening, and they realized that they were conflicting with Ladies' Night,
Mm-hmm.
and then they switched it to the Fridays, and we're like, well, now we can't go to that because that's when our rehearsals are. So, and didn't end up to going to that. Sometimes we had to switch our rehearsal nights to the night before just to be able to go to the casino. And
Yes. Thank you for coming to Boxer's birthday party. Again, I'm sure I've
yes,
said it before, but thank you.
that was a
Um,
great night with all the Lazaruses.
the Lazarus is did how did that come about? That's a good point.
I think that was Veronica's idea. For Veronica, she was the doctor in
Yeah.
Last Call.
She
And, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, she was the like main voice or whatever, the echoey, boomy kind of runner of Ladies' Night, right?
Oh, no, actually, Veronica didn't have much to do with Ladies' Night.
Oh,
The runner of Ladies' Night was Nisa. She's actually the head of Dragon Spirit along with Leon, yeah.
right, Nisa.
Nisa and Leon Blackburn, yeah. There was quite a few people who were in Last Call who didn't actually have much to do with Ladies' Night. We were just friends who were together from before the storm. Most of the people who did in there were like Lillian, Callista, Charlotte. Iskandar did a few times. There's other people on the island who joined in a lot, though. Of course, Dee Dee, Edward.
So when I first got involved with Last Call, I was trying to see, I think, Nisa, but I didn't nameplate anybody like the whole time, so I didn't know who I was actually looking for, which is why I wound up asking
That last call.
at Last Call, asking Dee Dee to come to my birthday because someone had said, "Oh yeah, you're looking for Dee Dee," and I was like, "Okay, sure, I guess I am." And then when I got there and I actually talked to y'all, it was the wrong person, but I was like, "Nah, F it, it doesn't matter." So that's why Boxer became friends with Dee Dee at all and got involved with Last Call. It was a mistake, and that's cool.
Yeah, I don't. Nisa and Leon at Dragon Spirit are just the people who run it. Everybody else who's in Dragon Spirit just helps them keep the company afloat. Like they have people who go out and collect gold, put in the flag every day. Because what people also don't know about Ladies' Night is they don't charge for anything. They give away free booze, free drinks. They don't charge cover. Everything's free. They work their butts off for that. They have one person who does nothing but make drinks all week, another person who does nothing but make food all week, another person who gathers gold for the flag, and then Nisa and Leon, who are like the people who do nothing but try to plan for the ladies' night itself. And
Yeah. Yeah, that whole organization, every time I talk about it and everyone who's involved just like blows my mind. I think it's so legit. So, thank you for that and all of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um
Last Call was just kind of was considered the sister company because we were kind of like the performers. Like there was me who did like the billboards and the choreographing, and then like Calissa and Dee Dee, and who did the singing, plus a few other people, and everybody else kind of helped with the background dancing. And
that's a good point. Were there any of those performances that like especially on the side stages that blew your mind or you weren't expecting or something like that?
um, like because of the rehearsals and stuff like that, and it was mostly the same singers, not like on the main stages, but there was quite a few performances that came up. Like, sometimes they would just say, hey, anybody in the audience who wants to come up and sing on the side stage, you can. There's quite a few people who came up and sang where I was just like, holy crap, these
Yeah.
people need to join us. Like,
Yeah, I agree. That was some cool junk, especially the like
yeah,
random people. Um
that's one of my favorite things about Ladies Night is how everybody can get involved in the unexpected. You have a random person come up who all of a sudden blows your mind on stage or something.
yeah, for sure. Did you I mean, of course you missed it, but like when you were with Anarchy and with Kindred like in a completely different setting, did you miss what you had had before or were you happy to like be in a new adventure?
Both. Because of the way it happened, like when we left Last Call and moved into Anarchy at the exact same time that Ladies Night went or ended up not being around, it made me miss like having the whole Ladies Night thing. It would have been a lot different if Ladies Night continued to the whole thing, because then at least Lillian would still have that part of her identity where, okay, no matter what happens, she always has Ladies Night where she can go back and do her tattoos and the dancing and all that. But because it was such a huge change all at once, it did feel like a huge change.
Yeah, for sure. Um did you ever want to like be one of the singers instead of the dancer?
No, I'm not a singer. People ask Lillian to sing all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just like, nope, nope. I'm
All
not.
right.
I'm not a singer.
Cool.
My,
I guess I know some of your friends and some of your the people that you care about, but were there characters that you saw only briefly that you just wanted to know more about or anybody that you
oh,
thought
a
was
lot.
super interesting?
There's quite a few people who I've run into who I've never been able to run into again, who I wish I could have. Like there was one, I forget his name. It was Jack something. He was basically like a Jack Sparrow, and I feel so bad because his name wasn't Jack Sparrow. It was something like Jack Sparrow. He asked Lillian for a tattoo one night, and I think it was like within a week before the whole like company change and the move for Lillian. Moving from Last Call to Anarchy, and I made him an amazing tattoo. I found out later on down the road, the tattoo he asked for was like a cat with a heart in his mouth on his back, and it was because he was in love with Bella or something, and she broke his heart, so he wanted to have a cat with a heart because it broke his heart. But I felt so bad because I made this amazing tattoo for him, and I couldn't find him again to ever give it back to him. Like I knew he was around. I heard people talking about him, and I'm like, I don't know where to find him, and never did get him his tattoo. I feel so bad.
I think I heard about that too, but in general chat and Discord. Man, I'm trying to think of what the circumstances were about that like heartbreak thing. I think I'll ask. You said it's cool to DM random strangers, so I think I'll ask. Um, and then if they yell at me, I'll be like, "Well, I mean, Saphiria said it was fine."
Well, I said it was fine with Iskandar.
Okay, only DM him. Got it. Um, did I know you were out on the ships. Um, did you participate in a lot of piracy? And do you think you ever, or your crew ever went too far?
Lillian was always on the black sailed ships, or almost always. We always been out together. But she never boarded. I think maybe once when Lillian was in Anarchy, she boarded a ship, but it just didn't feel right. It felt uncomfortable. It's not the way she is. She can't, yell at somebody and say, drop all your things. It's just not the way Lillian is. So she would always stay at the bottom of the ship, just, standing by a cannon or something in case something went wrong. She just distanced herself from that stuff.
The maddest I think I ever saw you get was when that guy kept getting onto your cannon instead of his own cannon, and you were like, "Please be on the other cannon. That's mine. I gotta go to." It was pretty funny. Um, did you kill Rex?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Oof.
Well, not intentionally. Like we sunk their ship, and he boarded our ship and shot Aiden in the head twice. I don't know how Aiden survived it, but he shot Aiden in the head twice. And between the first and second shot in Aiden's head, Aiden yelled, "Pay attention." So I turned around and looked at him, and I saw him about to shoot him a second time. I pulled up my rifle and shot him, and ended up killing him.
Nice. Well done. Um,
Yeah, it was just a knee jerk reaction, like it was nothing against Rex. It's just, um, somebody shooting your captain in the head, you shoot them back.
Based on chat, I spelled that shout out correctly earlier. Hooray. Um, oh, it looks like everybody was trying to kill Rex at the same time.
Yeah. Actually, Venom shot him before I did, but I guess his gun wasn't that powerful. I don't know. He didn't end up killing him. I just happened to get the killing blow.
um, that's another good point. A lot of people talk about the large companies being overpowered, being like outgearing their enemies and stuff. Did it seem like that from inside Kindred?
Not at all.
Okay.
Like, okay, the captains had some mythical gear on, but like Lillian and a lot of the other people in the company were just rocking around in legendary gear. It wasn't anything extremely special or anything. Everybody keeps saying like out of character, we're min maxing and stuff. It wasn't like that at all. The only thing we had to our advantage is our numbers because we were able to bring out multiple ships and things like that. And
For sure.
but what people don't realize, even though you have a lot of people in your company to go out and do things, at the same time, you have a lot of people in your company to outfit. If they would even attempted to outfit 50 people with mythical gear, like it would be damn near impossible. Like it would take so much work.
See, as someone who wore Robin's common furs, I consider you all OP, but it doesn't matter to me, so
This is coming from Boxer who lost his things, what, 17 times? Or no, it wasn't 17. Well, it was
gosh,
like 14 or something.
a
But
million.
like, I had some gear from the Lillian right to the very last day where Lillian, or not last day, second last day where Lillian got killed in the Navy. Um, she had some gear on her that she had from back in last call near day one. I've never lost my things completely ever until that day.
I can't imagine what that's like, except for Stacy, because I had Stacy for the entire chapter. But I can't imagine holding a thing for I don't know that long. I made
Yeah.
it 20 like 27 days or something with Robin's clothes, and that's the only thing I could like hold for that long. So that's impressive. Well done.
There was actually one tattoo I did at one point where, and ended up getting a over 300% mythical rifle and a blueprint from mythical flintblocks. That I held on to those for months, like the last 2 months of the server.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
dope. Did did people pay you in like goods instead of money or whatever when they could or
Sometimes, like sometimes I traded tattoos for favors, tattoos for resources when we were in anarchy, or tattoos for blueprints. Yeah,
Dang.
it's just a resource you can trade, just like anything else.
Right. Like Osos peepings. Um if hey, by the way, welcome to chat. If you got questions, do it up. Um it has been an hour already, so that's crazy. Um did ooh, new question. Did you make your emotes yourself?
Yes.
Dang. All right. Would you make emotes for other people who were willing to pay you?
I could.
Dope. Hey, speaking of, I have this emote. From Roscoe. Roscoe made this. Check this out. Boom, nailed it.
It's so cute. I love it.
So that's dope. If I guess if people are looking for emotes, there's a lot of people who are trying to do that stuff in their downtime. So that's cool. You could just take all your tattoo time and put it into emotes. Um,
Actually, just because this is a question you haven't asked me yet, and I feel like it's something I wanted to point out. Looking at my folder of tattoos just from season 3, Lillian tattooed almost 500 people.
dang. So that was a question that I had, but I kept forgetting because I do that. So that is a ton of people.
Yeah, even I couldn't believe it when I looked back at the folder. Like, holy crap! That I don't know how I accomplished that, but I didn't even realize there was that many people on the server. To be honest.
Oh man, there's a lot. It sounds like what you've done is you've created like a tiny folder for all of us with all of our different skins inside.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I keep everything. And actually, as soon as the season ended, I threw everything from this season into one folder called 3.0 and started a 4.0 for next season, so I can keep track of different people's tattoos from different seasons. And
That is dope. So I talked about this with I don't know some people, because I can't remember. It was either Gob or Lamp, but the art that you created, um, and because you said you like redid all of the art over and over again, and the tattoos you've created, are you going to recognize them if you see them in the future? And do you think that like those tiny homages to like the past are worth putting up?
yeah, like I can always recognize my own artwork when I see them, even if like I've run into people who I tattooed like in the first week or two and I haven't seen them the whole time, and then I run into them right away. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about your tattoos,
That's
but
cool.
I recognize them right away. Yeah.
Because I mean, people are probably gonna if they continue the character, they'll probably keep their tattoos unless the tattoos mean
Yeah.
like some event happened. But um, that's a unique thing that I think you have over other people. That'll be really cool.
Actually, it's funny in character. There was one point where I think we're on a ship, and some of the people in Kindred were asking, like, like, do you recognize people's tattoos? I'm like, yeah. They're like, so if we run into somebody, you'd be able to tell us who they were just from their tattoos, right? I'm like, yeah.
That is a good
Like,
point too. I
yeah.
asked Lamp who plays Magoo about the nicknames thing, and he said that that helped him like keep people straight and stuff. But it sounds like you're doing the same thing, but with art that you've done.
Yeah.
It's dope.
Like, even if people come up to us and try and give a different name or something, I would be able to be like, I remember you. I know those tattoos.
Yeah. You have my name tattooed on your foot with a little heart. I know who you are.
Oh god, I didn't realize that the doing that to Mythicles would become such a thing. But
Yeah, that I yep. I'm planning to interview him. I yeah, were you there for Magoo's death as well? And that and Rex and I guess all the like sort of aggressive things you wound up doing. Do you think that um the ripples of what you did changed uh, the whole RP community as it was occurring.
Well, that's the thing, though. Okay, even though Lillian was a huge part of Kindred, at the same time, she avoided having to see a lot of those things. Lillian did not see Magoo explode. Actually, even I don't know if you even know about this. Okay, when Anarchy was in prison, the few of us, it was me, Callista, and Charlotte, became somewhat close and really took a fond liking to Kaldar Boneforge. He
Mm-hmm.
was the Navy warden, I think, for the prison.
Oh yes.
And in the last few days of the server, he decided to say goodbye to everybody, and he chose to come visit Kindred last. And to everybody who was in Anarchy and Kindred's like heartache, Kindred decided to hang him. And I was there with him on the ship when we came across him, and I was just so sad. I kept telling him like, "I'm so happy to see you, but not like this."
Yeah.
And when it came down to the hanging, Lillian ran away. She couldn't see it. She didn't want to watch it happen. She wasn't there in the room. Like when it comes down to like the killing of things, like I think the only person Lillian actually like hung around for the execution of was Godiva, just because she didn't have an attachment with her at all. Actually, she was pissed at her because she tormented Riley.
it's it's crazy that all of these stories just touch each other in random places like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, actually, after watching her interview, I've now realized she wasn't actually tormenting Riley, but Riley is a very emotional person. So, in character, we all thought this woman is tormenting Riley, trying to kidnap her all the time and just mentally torturing her. And I had no sympathy for her death whatsoever.
Yeah. Talking to people like this like really changes the way you think about things, I think. There was a lot of thinks in
Yeah,
there, but it's wild that the reason people do stuff makes sense to them even though you think, "Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Why is it like that? Why don't you stop?" But I mean, they're just playing their character and that's really cool.
yeah.
Did you um in the last days I could not handle it anymore, but did you all say goodbye to each other? Did you play it off like nothing was going to happen? Specifically Iskandar, I think in this case.
The last days were an emotional roller coaster. Mostly because, like, when everybody else is just going through their normal things where they're just, saying, oh, goodbye to their family and their crew and stuff like that, Kindred was in the midst of first the Rum Runner War, where they came in and attacked us, and we had that huge fight. And then you barely get over that. I went to bed at like 6 in the morning that night
Oh
after the
jeez.
whole Rum Runner thing. Woke up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and went straight into the Navy War. Like there was very little time to really comprehend everything.
Right.
I was so very glad to find out that there was actually one more day after that, because at the time we
Yeah.
thought the Navy War afterwards that was going to be it. Like we thought we had no time to like go through everything. But yeah, after the last day after the Navy War, we all kind of came together. We went through our feels and our emotions, dealing with the people we lost in the Navy War, and we came back together, the survivors of a family. We actually role played moving off of the island onto a new one, and we even though it was the last day, we all went out and built houses, and just to say like we're settling into a new life in a new place,
Yeah.
and give them a bit of a happy ending.
I think that's the way we all should have played it. We did that as well, but we did that off stream. Um because I didn't want to like I was done basically, but I still wanted to continue with my own stuff and our own story. So we did that um as well. And I think that's how everyone should have done it. Like there were a lot of people who were saying goodbye, but they couldn't have possibly known that it was ending. Like there's no reason for that. So it was just us
Yeah.
saying goodbye.
See, I don't think anybody actually said goodbye. Like, I think most of us, we once we moved on to the new island, we were just more like, "Good night. Well, we'll see you in the
Yeah,
morning."
yeah.
We were all just going through so many emotions, but even though we are all very emotional, it was more emotion because of what we went through the last 48 hours. It
Yes.
was very emotional. Like, okay, everybody keeps getting on my case about, Lillian killing Rex. She killed two Navy men that night. Nobody's even recognizing that.
Do you
Like,
know
Lillian was going through those emotions and being like, okay, I just killed two Navy men and had a baby who almost died. And yeah, big move.
who were the Navy peeps you killed?
Oh God.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Dang. Brutal.
Yeah, there's so many people who died that night. If you asked me that night, I would remember because I looked back at the company logs. But
Ooh, dang.
I do know one person that ended up dying that night. The person who ended up killing Lillian, Barry Boxter. He died about 15 seconds after Lillian by Iskandar's mace.
Ooh, yes, I saw that. Wait, why was my name in there? Barry. Wait, what?
Barry Berwin is the one who killed Lillian, and Iskandar killed him about 10
Okay.
or 15 seconds later.
I thought you said Boxster in there somewhere, and I was like,
Oh, no, no,
okay,
no.
yeah, she
Barry
totally said
Berwin.
Boxster. Okay.
Did I say Boxster? No, okay. Barry Berwin.
I was like, what? All right.
Sorry.
No, that's good. Um, I was like, I don't remember being on at that time. Um, that is one of the few parts of that Navy thing that I watched. The death of Lillian, or the whatever of Lillian. That was brutal, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it was. Like they were murdering what we thought, well, okay, in character we thought this was their hospital because there said a medical sign up front. We found out afterwards out of character that it wasn't their hospital at all, but we were just so confused. We're like, how are we the brutal people when the Navy are murdering their own sick and injured? They're
right.
murdering the hospital just to try and kill us. And there was grenades everywhere, and yeah, it was chaos. Like
Yeah, it was
I had
cool
no
though.
chance.
It was a good looking land invasion, I think.
And I found out afterwards that a character was actually a over 400% mythical pike that was used to knock out Lillian one hit. Like there was nobody could stand a chance to that.
Wow, that's like Rudge's pike, the crafter. He had a 500 pike for a while, but gave it away or something stupid. Um, but yeah,
Oh wow.
those are like hard to even comprehend. So I don't know what that would do to a person. I mean, I know what it would do to Boxer, but like other people, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't care how good of you have your stats in your character. That would one hit knock out
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah. um, Dang, there was a question in there that I forgot. Like goodbye. Oh yeah, did you like say goodbye to Iskandar, or did you like play it off, or
We didn't have goodbyes because Iskandar and Lillian were still together. It was more,
okay, good,
see you in the morning type of
right?
thing.
Okay, I was just making
And
sure.
we talk out of character all the time, and
Right.
we actually just talked earlier today about like out of character what they're doing. And yeah, they're Lillian and Iskandar are off in Iskandar's homeland, and he's gonna. Well, Lillian's raising the baby. He's gonna go and try and find out the Reaver's story because he feels connected to that. But
Well, well,
they are
well.
coming back another season.
Thank you for that tidbit. If Boxer and Robin come back, they will come back together because they're very tied together right now. Um, but they will probably be Reavers. So, uh,
Oh.
yeah, that's
I'm kind of curious how that works. How does Boxer and Robin end up becoming Reavers?
um the so Robin has all this like Reaver lore. She has all the books. Um, and she couldn't, or I guess her player Jess couldn't play But I was always trying to like do like random stuff when she couldn't play because her schedule was like not the same. So I would try and do stuff that she could like wake up, look at, interact with, and then go also have her own RP, and then she would leave me like messages and stuff too, so that we could still continue the like love thing, but we didn't have to necessarily have the same schedule. And
Yeah.
at one of those times, I read all of the Reaver books because I didn't have like anything to do. So I read all these Reaver books, and then I accidentally married two Reavers together. Um, and then I found a Reaver shrine, and like all this stuff started coming together where like all this Reaver lore was everywhere. And I had this giant painting that I had already painted, and it looked like a devourer kind of thing already. And
Oh,
I don't know if you've seen that picture. Um,
I don't think I have. Are you guys coming back like this upcoming
no,
season
no,
as
no. She's
okay.
playing someone else.
Oh,
Well, I am too, but no, we are
yeah,
not.
me as well. It's actually we were planning the season after next to a lot of the people from Kindred slash AR are going to try and do a comeback the season after next.
Dope. That is dope. Let me try and find out this. That is way too big, but you see the stream? I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. Now I can see it better.
So I originally had this just dragon up there, and then I started putting in the fire, and then the navy really made us mad, so I threw in the navy, and then I read all these the Reaver books, and I was like, oh snap! Like if there's anything that's a devourer, it's whatever that thing is that I drew, right? So I just put the lore pieces along with it, the webs and the crone or whichever one that is. Um, but when I did it, I don't know what I was thinking, but I put the crone. She has the Robin scar and everything on it, and like that sort of like cinched it. Like Robin is kind of down to be a Reaver, and I mean Boxer doesn't care, so whatever. Like I messaged them in the Hooligans chat because there were a couple of them in there then, and I was like, I totally get it, I totally understand. I didn't get it before, but I read your books and I get it now. Like that's some legit lore that they made. It's very good.
I've yet to read it. I really want to though.
I don't know how to get it, so I can't help you. Sorry.
Actually, I think Kyrie might have it. I'm gonna go DM her after this and get a copy.
Good call. Uh,
Actually,
yeah, it's
I
good.
know it's supposed to be questions for me, but that leaves me open for a question for you.
Yeah, yeah,
I hope you don't mind. I'm turning the because that just made
sounds
me
good.
realize. I've always noticed from day one that Boxster is a really good drawer, like from the painting nights and stuff.
Hmm.
Like, it is. Are you a painter or drawer in real life, or?
No, I am not. I took some classes in like high school and junk, but I just mess around with it and just draw whatever I want. Um, but the reason I'm still down to do it in character as Boxster is because he was doing the maps for so long, and I mean that's the same basic skill set. Like you can draw an island or you can draw a person. Like it doesn't matter. So I was fine with doing art and stuff. Unless you don't know about the maps, and then I have more to tell you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, see, I've always noticed your paintings are so awesome. I thought maybe you had a lot more background with it or something.
Nope. I just goof off and
I might be good at tattoos, but when I go to painting nights, I look like a 5-year-old drawing on paintings.
yeah. It would be interesting to see someone because someone mentioned like, "Hey, has anyone learned how to like get better at art in character when they go to painting nights?" And then I had to be like, "That's not what painting night is. This is a dating service. You're thinking about it wrong." But I think it would be
Yeah.
interesting for for someone to like do art classes because you legitimately could in character, just like they used to have school for RP. You could have school for art and stuff. I think that'd be cool.
Speaking of painting night, like even out in character, Lillian had to do what she had to do. Out of character, like it killed me to have to the things we had to do at painting night. Like
So
I didn't like. I hated it having to do that to Vivi and come in with we thought was the person we thought was Squeak and stuff. And yeah,
you you win all the time. So like
yeah.
it didn't send up any red flags, and I think that's the point, right? And then um the building was surrounded, and I was like, aren't there two people like inside right here? And I was like, oh snap, they've known the whole time who was in here and all that junk. So I don't know if y'all were spying or whatever, but
Yeah, well,
yeah.
okay, Lillian and Iskandar, like way before we even joined Kindred, like even when we were in Anarchy, we used to go to painting nights like once a week, just all the time, just for fun, because I knew that you would be there, Mythicles would be there, Lazarus would be there, Croc would be there. Like we enjoyed going. It was our way of like, even though we were pirates now, we could still go and hang out with you guys and have like a fun night away, because we didn't have ladies' night to do that for us anymore. It was literally because of you guys. Like we wanted to go there to role play with you guys. And after we joined Kindred and things started happening when they tried to get Squeak and stuff, they knew that Lillian and Iskandar always went to paint nights. So that night when they were trying to get Squeak, they're like, well, let's send Lillian and Iskandar in because they go all the time and they're not going to
Uh-huh.
suspect anything.
um what's funny is that Rex, or God of Gaming, um he was always looking outside and stuff for the law or for other people or whatever, right? um I hid from them once because I couldn't tell who was with Leaf and Wolfsong. So um I was sort of always like kind of worried about what would happen after that Wolfsong incident. But um someone tried to shoot Rex while we were there, maybe a week or two before the incident with Squeak, and I was standing there with a Navy person surrounded by pirates, so we thought that it had been a shot at her and she didn't know, and I had to like do all of this work and like explain all this stuff. And looking back on it, like we should have known like so early. We should have been prepared so early, and we just ignored like all the possibilities and all that stuff. But
Well, like Kyrie just said in chat, we that night that they took Squeak, we had no part of that. We were there just to investigate because we knew that Squeak was always at Fate Night.
mhm.
We were just there to we literally went there as I think there was 5 or 6 of us in the company who were just like, we're gonna go there and paint, and if Squeak's there, we'll just report it to the company. We're not gonna do anything.
Right.
And yeah, we were quite surprised that once we got there, that there was 3 other companies there trying to do the kidnap Squeak and
So that event changed a lot of stuff and made a lot of people really mad in character and out of character. But are you saying that, so for your part, sure, you weren't there necessarily with them. Were those people all there together, or was everyone there at the same time accidentally?
yeah, like okay, the rum runners were there separately away from us. The kindred were there on their own. There was two different occasions that or two different situations that happened at paint night on 2 different nights. The first one was when we went there when Squeak was still Squeak and not like Squeak's daughter or whatever she was. I forget what her other character was. But when Squeak was still Squeak and she ended up getting kidnapped by the rum runners and handed over to Trident, we were just there to, be at paint night, but at the same time on the side, we were just there to investigate if Squeak was there and to overhear anything she might have been talking about, type of thing, and just to kind of spy on the situation and figure out what's going on. The second situation was when after Squeak got taken and all that, I think it was the next week, and that's when we ended up pulling over their galleon. And in character, we didn't realize that Squeak was a different character. It was out of character. We knew that it was somebody else but we were just more there to investigate. Like, is Squeak still alive? We wanted to find out in character if Squeak was still Squeak.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but it ended up the whole thing ended up snowballing because after we ran into a character for the first time, we found out it was a child character. The next thing you know, the story spiraled. We heard from other people. They're like, "Oh, well, kindreds are horrible people. They threatened to chop limbs off a child," and we're like, "This
Yeah.
is not what happened at all." They're like, they blocked and barricaded these Paytonite ports. We're like, it was not like that at all. Like it was one ship we stopped.
Right.
It was the galleon that she was on.
Uh, Along the lines of none of that, actually, I thought of something else. So you were always at ladies' night, to go back to it. Um,
Hmm.
Hundreds of people went to ladies' night over the course of the weeks, and then each night
Yeah.
maybe 120, 130 something, because it would always fill up. Um, Even though it was supposed to be legit and all above board, were there like deals and pirate stuff and like all of that junk happening?
All the time.
Yeah.
Things would happen there all the time. Actually, do you remember Sleep Agendin?
Uh, yes, but I didn't participate. But
Yeah,
yes.
Sleep Agendin was born at Ladies' Night.
Okay.
It was a
Okay.
bunch of drunk pirates late in the night who decided, hey, it's a great idea. We should all get together and make a bunch of sloops and go attack the Navy.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, there's constantly like you just walk around the room and just happen to overhear conversations. There was so many dealings that happen there, but it's bound to happen at a neutral port. It's like
Right.
a place where everybody can get together and talk about things like that where they wouldn't normally get together.
Except for um Magoo blowing himself up on accident or on purpose, unclear still. Um was there any sort of like acts of violence that shouldn't have happened but just like sprang up or any of that? Because I never
Um,
saw any of that personally.
Near the end, there was not acts of violence, but a few things that were kind of frowned upon. Like there were some things that happened with the run runners. For instance, I think her name was Angelina or Angelica or something like that. There was a woman in the run runners who couldn't speak in game.
Oh,
She always
yeah.
threw notes at people.
Angie. Yep.
Yeah, she first she brought a galleon. She sailed the galleon to the port by herself and parked it sideways, blocking in like a bunch of the ships all at once in some sort of a protest. I'm not even sure what the protest was. And then there was the same night, I think they did a reading of like the books that were written. Was it the Dirty Secretary books or
Hmm.
something like that? And she purposely tried to ruin it by hopping up on stage and even though she couldn't talk very well, tried to do the books and like that. And yeah,
I
there's some things like that. Or I think the only other instance was maybe one other character who Nisa and Leon have issues with, who they tried to um, like just cause problems with Ladies' Night. But for the most part, people respect the neutral port Ladies' Night situation.
that specific character is interesting that you bring her up. I actually like her a whole lot. Um because I could see the whole process, and she's super interesting. Um and I thought it was so ballsy that she got up on stage, because it's not because like her character can't talk, but like she literally can't. So
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, and I wanted to know what happened because I had never heard her speak before. But it kind of, I guess, was the wrong place kind of thing.
Yeah, see, I feel bad because out of character, I know her situation
Mm,
and I have no issues with her at all. But in character, like, because of like the act she did right before that happened, like the whole thing with like blocking off a whole bunch of ships from not being able to take off and
mhm.
Like it kind of came off as a way of trying to ruin Ladies' Night.
Protest
It
kind of.
sucks. It just sucks the way it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Wonder what would have happened. I forgot all about that. Hmm.
I don't know.
I
And actually, that whole thing caused a lot of issues. Like when we were in Anarchy, and then ended up coming back around, where I was told in character by Nisa and Leon that Graves and the Rum Runners in general were actually trying to put a protest against Ladies' Night. It was at the same time they were talking about opening up their own tavern. At the same time, Ladies' Night was run on Saturday nights, and it was causing issues. And Anarchy actually ended up confronting Rum Runners about it at one point, where they had all their black sailed ships out front of our port when we all came out in our black sailed ships, and we had a yelling conversation while on the black sailed ships about how they were protesting Ladies' Night. It was super awkward.
wow. Huh. I didn't see any of that stuff. Um. Wow.
I don't know if anybody was streaming it, if anybody, maybe Graves was.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, Graves probably streamed what 2,000 hours or something.
Yeah.
That was some intense stuff.
That was near the beginning of Anarchy, I think, like because we were still very very close with Ladies' Night and the people at Ladies' Night. So as soon as we hear anything that has to do with Ladies' Night and people protesting Ladies' Night, we were just like, nope, nope, we're not having any of that.
Yeah.
They're like family to us. So
I might have been.
Kyrie might have been streaming.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's the word? I don't know what the last word is. Okay, gotcha. Um what sucks though is that like all of these stories, at least for me, they're all gone because my Twitch doesn't keep stuff for that long or whatever. I guess you have to be partnered or maybe there's some settings that I'm
If you
missing.
have Amazon Prime, you can, or partnered, you can have it for 3 months. Otherwise, it's like 2 weeks, I think.
Gotcha. Yep. Mine actually might be 3 months. I don't know, but yeah. It sucks that all those stories are like going away, you know? Um
Yeah. Well, I actually highlighted a few of my VODs to like keep them, just the things that I thought was important,
mhm,
like Lillian's wedding or like the Navy fight. I fully highlighted just to hold on to that.
mhm. I I was there like in your chat for the beginning of the wedding and the like pictures and stuff, but like I never thought about how clothing can completely change a person until I saw Iskandar in that suit. And like it was so funny and you could still tell who he was and stuff. Like
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was so weird because Iskandar does not wear shirts. So
yeah.
you seeing him in a shirt was just the fact that Iskandar would even put on a shirt for a wedding just says something. Like,
Oh man. Yeah, that was good. I like that a lot. Um cuz like, you know, everybody seems different until there's three red-haired short chicks or seemingly tall white-haired chicks or
yeah.
long-haired black-haired guys. Like once they're all together, I can't tell the difference, but one on one, you're like, "Oh, those are the people I know." So it was interesting to see how clothing changed Iskandar's look.
Actually, just to touch on that, one thing that I didn't mention yet is, and very few people know about this. Before the storm, Lillian wasn't short; she was a normal-sized person.
What?
Yeah.
What
And
happened?
in character, I always say that Lillian, because of the shimmer, this is just my the way of like playing it off. You know, the shimmers they make people pass out and they make people lose their tattoos and
Mhm.
sometimes they make people really old. Well, Lillian thinks that the shimmer shrunk her.
That's awesome. That's great. When
But out of character, it was actually just because between seasons, I think it was like 3 4 days between not seasons, but between the chapter. We were 3 4 days. I was playing unofficial, and I made a joke with the people I was playing with, which is other last call players, and called myself Little Lillian and made her super short.
Hmm.
And I realized how fun it was to play a small character. So when I remade Lillian, I just said the hell with it and made her small.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of, right there at the beginning of the season or whatever, there was like the height slider change or something that messed up all the presets. Um, did that affect your tattoo work as well? And did you have to like redo a bunch of stuff?
No, not at all. Actually, the only time I've ever come across issues with tattooing, which I hate to say it because it sounds so bad, it's with the dark skinned characters.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because the colors just don't show up right. There's one guy in the Kindred crew, his name's Venom. He's not only very small, but he's very dark skinned.
Hmm.
And I feel so bad. I've tried tattooing him 6 or 7 times, and I think only one of them have come out right.
Gotcha. Yeah. Gob and I were talking about how in Conan you can do like a white on dark skin kind of thing, and it looks beautiful. But you can't do that in Atlas, and so we were like
No.
commiserating and stuff. So
Actually, white in tattoos and Atlas ends up coming out skin tone.
yeah, great.
Yeah. So it's impossible. You can literally on dark skinned characters, you can only use black. Any other color just turns out black. When you try to add detail to images, it just comes out a black ball blob. So on dark skinned characters, I literally have to keep very, very simplistic just so it's basically just two toned. One tone and another tone tattoos. It's really sad. I hope they fix it. Because I feel
Yeah,
really bad for not being able to properly tattoo some people.
I didn't ask this of anyone either. Is there anything I don't know if you look, but is there any like changes that are coming that you know about that you're super stoked about?
Yes, the deco. Real
Yeah.
beds, real like cups and plates and proper food and stuff. So I know they're adding like a whole bunch of different foods. It's gonna be, it's only gonna add to the role play. People can have proper restaurants and things like that.
Yeah, Pierre's got some stuff to do finally. Nice.
Like
Um
there is near the beginning of the season. Sorry for
no,
interrupting.
you're fine. Go on.
I just remembered there was this once we were still in last call. There was a ship that went by with a sign on it, and just happened to put my spyglass up to it. It was like a restaurant ship, and we like shot up a flare, chased the guy down because we just thought it was the coolest thing ever. It was like a brig, but he had a restaurant on the brig. The whole top and lower decks were all like tables and chairs, and he had a full little bar set up and like a restaurant in the back. And he was just so excited. We like shot a flare up at him, and we actually gave him gold and ordered food and drinks. And he was like, I've been sailing the seas for like 3 days, and you're the only person who's ever bought food from us. I'm like, holy fuck, like really? Sorry for swearing, but
No, I don't.
yeah.
I don't know if
And
you
I
heard
just thought it was so
Renegade.
awesome. And just the fact that they were gonna have new like proper foods and different types of stuff, like I really hope it opens up to roleplay for stuff like that guy had.
Right.
Because it was the only time I've ever seen him and he just disappeared. Like I'm guessing, we're the only people who stopped him in 3 days. Maybe it was another 3 days, nobody stopped him and he quit. Like who knows?
Um, did it have an awning over it, over the
I think so.
deck? I'm pretty sure that ship went to Ladies' Night once. Um, I think I remember getting on it and leaving a notice, but I couldn't get inside. But from what I remember, it had like the normal deck, and then there was like an awning over that, and it had the chairs and tables underneath it, and kind of like a wall or something.
Something like that,
Right.
yeah.
Um, apparently, Janie saw it too. Um, I
I really feel bad that I never ran into that guy again. I thought it was the coolest idea. It was original, especially in a game like Atlas. You just sail around, like, especially if you were to make the pork pies and fish and chips. Like, there's so many people who don't know how to cook. You could have just sailed around supplying food to the whole world, food knockoff. But
oh,
it's
that
really
would have been
sad we
great.
don't see him anymore, yeah.
I definitely could have used him while Elizabeth was gone, but it's whatevs. Um, I don't really have anything else. Is there anything you want to know about Boxster or anything like that?
Um, Actually, yes, there's a few things I've always wanted to know about Boxer I never found out in character.
All right.
One being, I never got the chance to ask him, why is he always so sad?
Boxer's sad because I was angry. I I'm barely gonna tell this story a lot, but basically, I wound up in a situation where it was really my fault, and I totally understand. But um, some people attacked me up at my hut, and they destroyed my bed during the attack, and that was the only thing I had because I lost everything over and over again. So I had lost my stuff, I don't know, like 10 times or something at that point. And they destroyed my bed, so I had no way to get back. So I was at the Freeport again, and I lost my mind, and I was never going to play again. Uh, but I couldn't do it. So I made Boxster very slow and very sad and very forgetful because when I logged back into the game, he was in the ocean. So I was like, oh well, they took him and drowned him. That's the story. So he washed back up on the Freeport, slower, quieter, and very sad.
That's like the saddest story ever.
Yeah. And then from there, I continued to lose stuff, and then he wound up in Blackwake, murdered by Logan, and like again, I lost my mind because I was like, yes, I'm finally going to join a company. I'm finally going to like do what I originally had planned to do. Didn't work out that way. Logan killed me. Lost my mind again. Made him sadder. He after that, after the hanging, I was like, okay, so he's low, so he's like, hello. I was putting in like a like super breathy stuff too, but it was destroying my throat. So he only did that for like 3 days, and then I was like, well, I can't do this anymore. So every time something bad happened, I just made him sadder and sadder and sadder until I couldn't. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, that's a good question too. How hard is it to do the Boxster voice? Like, do you have to actually like strain your throat? Does it hurt?
No, I didn't. I didn't ever think that it was different. Like it's just low. I don't think about it at all until I moved to the Knights island and I was talking all the time, and then it became an issue. But I mean like after 6 hours it hurts, but after 6 hours of just talking it hurts. So, it's like the same kind of thing. It doesn't really affect me.
Yeah.
You can hear it though in streams. If you listen to the end and then you listen to the beginning, it's definitely different because like I can't get it as low anymore. Yeah.
Oh crap, I had one more question and it just completely slipped my mind when you were explaining that one.
Sorry. I was talking about being sad. I went to Blackwake, drowned.
Oh, actually, that's when you were saying how you keep losing all your stuff. Like, I want to know how that keeps happening.
Well,
Like I said, Lillian, she managed to keep her things, most of her things from like last call through 3 companies right up until the second last day. How does one person manage that and another person loses their thing like every 2, 3 days?
it's it's the way I was playing, and Elizabeth in character definitely pointed it out over and over and over again. But um so there were 3 main ways that I lost everything all the time. One was the game killing me, and there was no way to stop that. Like if you die and your stuff sinks into a rock and you can't possibly get to it, like your stuff's just gone. So like that happens to everyone, and that's fine. The second way was ships would sink because I didn't know how to play the game. So if a ship sank, I was alone and I had no way to get it. So every time a ship sank, I just lost everything. So if I sailed through a shimmer and there were um, enemies on the other side, I had the most basic stuff possible. And if I didn't have repair materials, which I never did because I never prepared, then I would just lose my stuff. So I just turned that into like the fun of Boxer. Like, oh, he's back at the Freeport again. Shocking. What does he have this time? Nothing. Okay, great. So that's how I met like Croc and Edward, because I was always at the Freeport, so they knew where to find me because I was always rebuilding a new ship to go out and try and make it back to my hut. Then the third way, and the way Elizabeth tried to stop me, is that Boxer was all about the map and about seeing beautiful things, and that included whatever was behind or on top of or over or around. So I would walk into pirate bases like full on, doesn't matter what's on the other side. I wanted to see it, right? I wanted to look behind the walls and stuff. And occasionally that would kill me.
Yeah, I've seen that quite a few times. Actually, that you just made me think of another question. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it in Boxer's like your recent streams or anything, but like especially back in last call, and I was Boxer's really sneaky.
Yeah.
Like you'd sneak into places you shouldn't be all the time.
It's it's because I spent so much time doing it alone that even when I joined a company, like for example, I invaded the Sleepless when they split and moved and stuff. When they started building their new base, um, hopefully Lady Nari watches this later. But what I did was I found, if you climb at the back of any spot, there's usually no guards, right? So I climbed to the back and I found an open door into a kitchen, and people would just leave doors open all the time, even if they're locked, like all the time. Um,
Yeah, I think there's even once where you messaged me when we were last call, and you were like, "Oh, I'm impressed. I tried every door; they're all
yes,
locked."
yours was definitely the first place where I literally tried every door and none of them worked except for the tavern. I was very impressed. Um,
Yeah, the tavern we always left unlocked.
but I, since those Sleepless were building their new base and stuff, I wanted to see like who I could talk to. So I just laid on their roof for like 30 minutes and watched. And there was a guy who was, I think he was moving stuff from a boat to the workshop or something, or waiting for someone, but he was moving in the same pattern like every 7 minutes or something. So I just waited until he moved away. And like literally, if you're willing to wait somewhere, there's always a door that's open or something. So I just hopped down. I walked into their main workshop. I put my I think it was a birthday invitation on their wall, and I turned around to walk out, but he had walked back too fast, and he was in the room with me with the door shut, and he did not
Oh
know how I got
no.
in there. But the thing that's crazy is that stuff happened all the time, and people will just like walk right past you because they don't even like, if
Register,
yeah,
yeah.
if your name doesn't show up as one of their friends, they're not even looking for you in their home. So um people would walk past me all the time and stuff. So yeah. uh I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but one time I was in last call the town, and
Overheard an awkward conversation between Greg and somebody
yeah,
else.
so
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa,
hold
whoa,
on.
whoa! Holy snap! Thank you so much.
Lady Nari did hear that. She is here. Thank you for the sub. um that's funny. I um i in that situation, I had intended to like go and ask somebody something. Um, but once you're like on someone's roof, you can't just drop down and be like, "Hey, I'm here." Like it doesn't make sense in
Yeah.
RP, and it doesn't make sense in the game either. So I just laid down to wait, and they had a full on conversation about like the hidden stash of dragon's tongue underneath the kitchen and all this random stuff, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I just laid on the roof until they were deep inside, and then I just got up and walked away.
You never even talked to them.
I don't think I did, because they were planning something, or like, I really don't like putting myself into someone's junk if they're trying to do something. So
Yeah.
I'm fine with being silent and waiting and seeing. So yeah, good question.
Yeah.
I tried to get the spy stuff up over and over and over again, but nobody wanted it, so it's fine.
Yeah, I noticed that in like especially the last month of your streams that you stopped doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I stopped because it no longer made sense. Like, Elizabeth told Boxster over and over and over that, like, this is what worries me, this is what you're doing, this is what you shouldn't do. And then as soon as Boxster like had someone else underneath, not underneath him, with him, that it mattered. Like, I understood what she was saying, and it made me like think, like, is this how a real human would act? No, it's not. So yeah, it kind of changed
Yeah.
Boxster. Yeah.
Boxster is always special though. In his own way. I mean, like it doesn't act normal like other people do.
Well, I mean, when you've been beat up that much, nobody's gonna act right, like.
Yeah.
um it's actually.
Actually,
Yeah,
oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go
No,
ahead.
no, you go
No.
ahead. No.
It's just because I just thought of another question that I never got to ask you.
Sure.
Like, I know about the whole Leaf thing, about, like, because I watched that one stream where Leaf, and Boxer on a boat, and then Boxer threw down some grenades and ended
Whoa, whoa,
up blowing himself
whoa,
up.
whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, first off, someone else threw some bolas down first. Like, okay, but basically the like bullet points are: Boxster was sad, nobody cared about his maps. He ran into this random person, who gave him information, told him where to go, told him where to take the maps, told him which maps to make. And then, since so much bad had happened to Boxster, he was already set in not remembering. So when he wound up
Yeah.
in prison, he didn't remember the specifics. And like, I remembered, I knew what I should be saying, but since I had said it wrong first, I was never ever going to fix it. So I knew his name, but I continued to tell Logan, sounds like a tree but spelled differently is his name. That's not his name. I know his name is Leaf. Sounds like a tree but spelled differently. So my commitment to the forgetting is the thing that continued to screw me. So he was supposed to take a map to Blackwake. Blackwake was then going to invade the Roughnecks and like fight them and all this junk. I never watched it. I did not care.
Yeah.
Because I was mad. In retrospect, I shouldn't have been that mad. It's me. But he Logan got the map, then killed me, or Boxster, instead, because Boxster is incredibly powerful. If anyone will just use him, he's so powerful, but they never would. So in order to protect Blackwake, Logan killed him. That's fine. But when the new chapter started, I needed something to do, so I am the one who put out the first bounty. It was a bounty to find Leaf. It went like a month with no answer, and I was like, I would go and pick up gold, take it directly to privateers, and pay them without anything. I was just paying people over and over. Find me Leaf, find me Leaf, find me Leaf. Nobody could, for no reason. I have no idea why they wouldn't or couldn't. But the lady who found him was Vivi, and Vivi ran into him at a free port and he accidentally said the full statement when he introduced himself. He said, "My name is Leaf, like a tree but spelled differently." But he doesn't
Oh
normally do
no.
that. So when he did it to her, she knew immediately that I was looking for him, and she came directly to me and told me. Then things got out of hand, and I accidentally threatened Wolfsong, and I didn't know who Wolfsong was, and then I threatened Wolfsong in person on accident, and then I found out who Wolfsong was, and then I realized I had made mistakes. But it's whatever. So, um,
See, what's interesting from my perspective is, in character, the first I ever heard of your whole thing, that whole situation,
mhm.
was that painting night when all of a sudden Boxer walks up to Iskandar and is like, "Can you kill him, please?" Or, well, I don't know your
Yeah,
exact word,
I was like, I
but
need you to kill the short guy. And freaking someone small was standing right next to us, and he was like, "Whoa, what did I do?" And I was like, "No, not you. Please walk
I was
outside and kill
so
him."
confused.
Yeah. So they the best part of that is that they sent Robin to find me, and Robin found me, obviously, and told them where I was, told them what I did, but nobody trusted her because for some reason nobody trusts Robin. I don't know why. So we refused to tell her any information, but she knew that I came to painting night every night or every Wednesday because I worked there. So um Wolfsong showed up in force, and I was like, I'm dead. Like, there's no way I get out of this, right? And then they just walked away, but they left a threatening painting that only I could understand. And I was like, great, great. They know where I am. And that was a threat. So I tried to get Iskandar to kill him, and I did not know what would happen. It was a mistake. I guess I really need to read that stupid letter that I should have published, but I didn't, to Elizabeth. Because it goes over like everything. It's like the most I've ever said about it, and why I did the things I did. But yeah, when I told Iskandar to kill him, and freaking Danny Wolfsong is standing right behind me. I didn't know she was still there because I had my HUD off. Oh my god, I
That
was
was
so
the most
scared.
awkward situation ever.
I was like, oh god, and there were no exits. There were
I
no
could see
exits.
Boxer running around in a panic trying to find a way out. It was so hard to watch.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I was going to die there. But I Leaf or Stone, who plays Leaf, hilarious. He and I like discussed afterwards, and we like both agreed that we were ready to perma and all this stuff. So that thing you watched was us accidentally coming up to each other after ladies' night.
Yeah.
And I felt like what happened didn't meet the criteria. It was supposed to be like a play on the original death where Logan killed Boxer, at least from my point of view. And Leaf didn't really care. So um, we like talked about metaphysics and the meaning of life and like all this stuff before the bolas. And it was like the most surreal thing because we both knew we were ready to kill each other or to die, and we were both
Yeah.
like, yep, this is just two guys chatting on a boat. It was really weird. I should not have gotten onto his ship, um but he got onto mine, so I felt like I was okay to do that. And then um he he had all this like gear and stuff, and I obviously had nothing. So grenades I thought were my only like option because at least to me, grenades blow me up, right? So
Yeah.
I was trying to take his ship out, not him, and it didn't work. Um, but he didn't intend to do what he did either. It's just like we were so tense and so ready the entire time that as soon as like something started moving, we were just like all over the place. So um, he tried to swipe me, but he couldn't do it from the kneeling position or whatever, which is why I had time to throw grenades. Otherwise, I would have been knocked out. He would have taken me, and it would have been fine. But lost my face instead.
Well, I'm glad you didn't perma Boxster because he had so much more story to tell.
Yeah, I know. That's so crazy. I was.
I kind of found a happy ending with Robin, and I like that.
Yeah, I know. That's adorable. I didn't expect that. Yeah. Being sad for
Because for
so
the
long.
longest time, yeah, Boxster was so sad. It was
Yeah.
just kind of nice that he had a happy ending.
Well, it was killing me, and I didn't want to do it anymore. But I didn't want to stop either, because, you know, it's still a story and it's still a character that I like and stuff. But I was really tired of being sad, so
Yeah.
it's interesting that like I didn't even try, but stop being sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hope your next character is much happier.
Um, I when I made the idea of Maddie, I thought, yeah, this is going to be a happy character, and the more I think about it, like I'm pretty sure sad is all I can do. I'm pretty sure. So,
Oh no.
I guess we'll find out.
Oh, nice.
Any
I
more?
feel like I've gotten to know Boxer so much better tonight. Oh, sorry.
I no, it's cool. I think that we who stream should just have like a way to just like run through everything that happened with your character. It's really hard to do because it seems so like pretentious and stuff or
I like
something.
the way you're doing this, though. It's really awesome. Like, even the few interviews you've done before mine, like, I feel like I've gotten to really know, like, the way the people are deciding to do certain things. Now you get to hear their out of character perspective.
Yeah.
And there's no other way to really know that unless somebody does something like this, so it's awesome.
That's true. Like I said, the your story with anarchy right in the middle and then everything that was before and everything afterward, it doesn't seem like it makes sense when you're just a person in the world playing it. But, you know, hearing you discuss it, you're like, oh yeah, obviously that's what I would have done too. I understand why you did it, and what was going on behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is cool too. That's why I'm doing it, even though it's freaking terrifying. So yeah.
Don't be terrified, it's awesome. I
Uh,
hope it becomes a thing.
well, I mean, I had to make a schedule, so it's definitely a thing. Um, it has been 2 hours. How is that even
Oh
possible?
god. Time fly by.
Yeah. Um, there's probably no way that anyone from Darkside is streaming, but if you are, what's up? I will. Nope. Okay, nothing. I don't even know if I have anyone who is streaming. Oh, easy. Um, that's all I got. If no one else in chat has any questions or anything, you made a good point. I'm going to try and make all of these videos into highlights so that they'll at least stay for a while. And then look into
Yeah.
my settings and stuff. I encourage you, since you have a stream, and those of you who have streams, to just chat about your character. And I think that's dope. And I think that if we just ran through our histories with a chat room, that I think that like we would address a lot of things that a lot of people are clearly questioning. So maybe we should do that. I don't know. Maybe I will.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Sometimes when we play as much as we do, is you get too caught up to the end character. Sometimes it's
Right.
good to pull yourself away and get to know somebody out of character and really get to know, okay, well, why they're doing the things they do.
That's true. And it's also interesting to look back on your own character and think like, oh yeah, that happened. I can't even remember that far back, or that's what you used to be like or something. So that's cool too.
Yeah.
uh I'm going to host Ray Ormy, or not host, raid Ray Ormy, because she is a hardcore RPer. I would interview her, but she does so much RP. Like there's like you could just go and hop into her stream and ask her questions. So I mean, all these interviews would be valuable to do, but I'm trying to like stay away from like hardcore streamers and stuff. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Thank you for chatting with me and these people in chat.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
My pleasure, for sure. Do you have anything you normally say during the raid countdown? Just let it count.
I usually just say goodbye and thanks for hanging out.
Goodbye and thanks for hanging out, everyone.